So about 2 months ago, we covered a really amazing account. This player had undertaken to get Arbiter as free-to-play, but while using Mystery Shards only. Well, today we have a new challenger for this record. We're going to look at his account, so let's jump right in. So before we get started, here's a quick snapshot of the previous record holder. Look at all those sacred shards, void shards, ancient shards, gems, and silver that he had. It was absolutely amazing, but today's challenger actually completed this faster, so we are expecting to see a little bit less of these resources, although the gems are pretty high. And look at all that silver. Now let's check out the amount of shards that he has. 19 sacred shards, 49 void shards, and 309 ancient shards. And I will tell you guys at the end of the video how quickly he completed this. So like the other showcases, we're going to take a look at his dungeons, the champions, the clan boss of the whole thing. We want to see how he got this done. And I will tell you guys right now, prepare to be amazed. He used some very classic champions you might have forgotten about that can help you progress and complete those missions. So now let's get going with the champions first. As you can see, we do have a Siled Drake, so we already know it took more than 6 months. In fact, we also know it took more than 9 months because there is a Vizix in there, but there's still a pretty big gap between now and the 14 months, which was the previous record. So here's a quick overview of his champions. We do have a Relentless Sile of the Drakes, and then for the masteries, they are completely done with Fearsome Presence. I really like that. We have a Yaga the Insatiable built on this account. Here are the stats, the gear. The skills are all done, and then the masteries. We have a Lich right here, which is one of the champions for the fusion of Rosin. So you can get this champion, even though you're not opening ancient shards. You shouldn't be really getting epics, but there are a couple of ways to get other champions. I just want to make that clear, right? As for the skills, they are not all done, and then we have the masteries right there. We do have a Grush the Mangler fully built, masteries completely done, skills are not all done. And then for the artifacts, we do have a High Katoon in I would assume full speed gear. Exactly, the skills are not all done. The masteries, we do have a dagger. You might be wondering, how the heck did he get a void champion? Pretty simple, guys. If you remember the Pixnial fusion, we had the ability to get a dagger from the events, so he managed to get one of those champions, and that does count in the challenge. I don't mind if you guys use the fusions to generate more champions, so as long as you do not use ancient shards, void shards, or sacred shards. Then we've got an Acolyte. I've rarely seen an Acolyte built on an account, but this player has built this champion. The masteries are all completely done. We have all the skills that are done, and then here is the gear. I'll quickly point out why you would want to use this champion. He does have a pretty big turn meter increase on the A1, also has a decrease of the turn meter by almost 100%, by 50%. This is actually pretty good. Even if it's a 4-turn cooldown, it certainly is useful. And then we have remove all debuffs on all allies on a 4-turn cooldown. This is actually pretty interesting, so congrats to this player for thinking outside the box a little bit. We do have a Bog Walker, decreased attack A1, all the skills are done. And then the masteries, we do have a Trusty War Maiden, as you would imagine on any account that is doing this challenge. All the skills are done. Here is the gear. We did get a Grave Chill Killer. That is fantastic. All the skills are done, and then here are the masteries. We have the one and only Runic Warder, and I'll get back to why you would want to use this champion. He is pretty clutch for a certain dungeon. All the skills are done, and then we have the gear right there. We do have a Diabolus fully built on this account as well. There's the gear. All the skills are done. Masteries, we got a Kale. I would assume he started with Kale. Great choice. The poisons are really important in the beginning. And then we have a Greybeard, a very accessible champion. He's basically farmable from the campaign. Then the masteries, also with Fearsome Presence. We did get an Apothecary with Timely Intervention. We have all of the skills done. Here's the gear. We do have a Soulbound Boyar as well. Gear. And then here are the skills, not all done, and then the masteries completely done. He does have a Berserker. Well played, sir. I use the Berserker quite a bit as well. Here are the masteries. All the skills are done, and then the artifacts. We have a Commander. If you guys do not know about this champion, she basically gives a full turn meter right here to a specific champion, right? So I think that is pretty interesting. It can allow for a pretty clutch sort of combo in certain dungeons or perhaps even the arena. Here are the masteries for this champion. Then we have a Zephyr Sniper, again, very well played. AoE A1, very useful. All the skills are done. Here's the gear. Armor number 1, in the absence of cold hearts, which you're not going to get while doing this challenge, you definitely will need to use some armigers. The skills are probably all done, yes, and then here are the masteries. Armor number 2, this one has flawless execution for the tier 6. Right there, skills are done. There's the gear. In Destroy. So I would imagine he's also using this champ, obviously, for the Scarab King. We have a Draconis here, level 50. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these other champions. Maybe they were briefly used for something in particular, but I would imagine they're not part of the end game roster, unless now he's pushing for faction wars. Maybe some of these champs will come into play. So we got a Hungerer here. All the skills are done on this one. Then we have our trusty Dark Ilhane, which he finished actually. All of the skills. Masteries are not completely done. Mystic Hand, very, very important, very clutch. The fact that he used a Mystic Hand and Runic Warder tells me that he did his homework. He knew why he was going to need this champion. I literally used the 2 same champions myself when I completed the missions almost 2 years ago now. All right, so those are the champions. Now let's go check out the rest of the account. Starting with, obviously, the campaign, you can see that it is completely done on Brutal. In fact, even Nightmare is almost completely done. He's literally missing only 4 stars, which I would assume are the 2 last bosses. No, not even. Stage number 5 here, and then for the last one, obviously, the last stage with that famous Mortu Macabre. So, very impressive that he was also able to do this. Now the dungeons, and I will show you guys a quick run of the Dragon's Lair, perhaps at the end if we have enough time. If not, I mean, you guys can see what teams he used. Right here, we do have the Minotaur with that Acolyte, Salve the Drakes being pretty important for this in a very reasonable time. 1 minute and 30 seconds. That is very good. As for the Ice Golem, we have an Apothecary, 2 Armigers, that famous dagger he got from the fusion of Pixnial, and then Salve the Drakes in a very reasonable 6 minutes and 30 seconds. As for the Spider Dungeon, 8 minutes and 10 seconds. You kind of don't care. If it just works for the missions, that's all you really want. We have Haikatoon, 2 Armigers, Zephyr Sniper, and Salve the Drakes. Guys, there's no reason why you cannot do this. Probably using that Zephyr Sniper as the tank, and then you're good to go, right? So very, very good here. Again, very accessible team. That is what I love. As for the Dragon, 3 minutes and 30 seconds with this team right here. Yaga the Insatiable is in there, Apothecary, War Maiden, Kale, and Salve the Drakes. And finally, for the Fire Knight, here is what I meant before by using a champion that is very clutch for this. I use the same one. It is Runic Warder, because this champion has AoE reflect damage, which means all the champions are going to basically hit that shield when it procs. This is very easy to use this method. And then we have a triple hit Apothecary, 1 Armiger, we have that War Maiden, and Salve the Drakes. So guys, very standard. You can easily do this. Then we also had a Mystic Hand, which I talked about briefly before. That is for the Magic Keep. I remember doing the exact same thing again. So guys, very basic here, but very doable. We can quickly check out the faction wars. We have 335 stars. You guys can't really see this, but I mean, you do your best, but like, this is not sort of like the goal of this challenge. You kind of just want to get to Arbiter first. As for the arena, let's quickly check his team here. We have Haikatoon into War Maiden, into Salve the Drakes, into our nuker Kale. Very standard. I use kind of like the same thing again almost 2 years ago, so very, very nice. As for tag team arena, I see that he's perhaps not trying all that hard. We have a 1-man defense team across the board. We're just farming a couple easy gold bars, which is probably the best way to do it in the beginning. Now we can also quickly check the Doom Tower. We are on normal, and we do seem to be all the way up to floor 50. That Scarab King probably being a really big problem. And then for the hard Doom Tower, we did basically 1 floor. So again, this is not the goal of this challenge. The ultimate goal, guys, is to get to Arbiter as quickly as possible. So here's his team right up here. He's the first one up top for the clan boss, and this is the team that he's currently using. As he's told me, it took him 10 keys 10 keys for the final mission to get to Arbiter. At that point, look at all his gems. You don't care. You will gladly spend all those keys to get Arbiter. So I think it is really, really amazing. So guys, there you have it. This is the breakdown of his account. Let's quickly look at the Great Hall before I let you guys know how quickly he did this. We do have a maxed out accuracy for the Magic Affinity. Spirit also doing pretty good, and then we have the Force here also doing pretty good for the accuracy and then the defense. So guys, how quickly did he do this? Also, we have the proof from our banana liaison at Plarium. It is a free-to-play account. All right, so we have 085 or 582 for the ending numbers. We can quickly check that right here. You can see that it is literally the same account. Okay, so we're not making this up. And then here is the actual time that it took him to do this: 10 months and about 4 or 5 days. 10 months instead of 14 months to reach Arbiter with Mystery Shards only as free to play. Guys, it is absolutely doable. You have the proof right here. I mean, look at the champions that he used. Basically all the accessible ones. Heck, look at his vault. look at all these rank 5 champions ready to go for something better. And in fact, he's going to let me open a couple sacred shards on his account. So I think we're going to finish with that instead of a run of the dragon. You know it works. I tried it. It takes about 4 minutes. It's good. Instead, let's see if we can hit it big on this sort of like new account. Now, I'm only going to do 4 sacred shards because that is roughly the amount he needs to get the remaining fragments from the summon rush. Perhaps it would be best to push and get some legendary tomes. So what we want from you guys is to let us know in the comments below what you think is best. I clearly told him where I stand. I'm not opening more than 4. I think he should always try to be ready for the next fusions, right? He's got a big supply of shards to complete plenty of fusions, all the next ones to come. If he starts pushing for only legendary tomes, will it be better for his account? So that is what we want to know. But for today, we're going to end this with 4 sacred shards. Let's see if we can make it happen on his account. I am honored to do this, so I hope we get something really good. Like, not a Lady Tessa. I'm not too excited about that. All these months of saving and we get a Lady Tessa. Ooh, okay, this one though. An epic again, okay? Canoness is also not that great. Come on, game, please let us get something crazy for this account. An epic again. Oh, Duke the Pierce. Okay, I'm gonna say this is a pretty solid pull though. This is certainly useful across the board. Decrease defense, decrease attack if it gets a critical hit. You know how this works. I think this is a great one. Really, really solid. Let's see with one more pull if we can get something even better. And okay, it's an epic. Okay, Lodric Falconheart. You know what? For the Scarab King, this might actually be really good for him. So I'm going to say at least 2 very useful epic champions in there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.